Alright, I'm tied into the coil primary right now, and I mean, this damn thing looks clean. I highly doubt that this is the ICM or coil is the problem. Pull this guy back over here so we got a nice, clean picture of our firing line right here. I had to do a 20-to-1 attenuator because it was, I mean, I can only get my peak KV firing, which is that, I mean, that's not important really. I don't think. I mean, I guess we could test that as well, make sure peak is staying relatively consistent. So idle, it's near that center line on the plot. Let's see how far up it gets. Relatively consistent, so that's good. Going to zoom back into about a volt so I get some detail. So peak KV is not a critical thing I'm looking at right here. What I'm looking at is this ignition event right here. So that burn down. Looks pretty damn clean, but let's zoom in a little closer. So this is 400 microseconds, and we'll go ahead and pull voltage down just a little bit. There we go. Now that's a nice secondary ignition curve. Saw how drama free that was. I highly doubt, 99.9% sure, if I swap this distributor over from the green car and use its inputs to my ignition system, we're still gonna have the same problem. Primary and secondary look great. The coil is being driven drama free. All my outputs from the distributor are fine. So again, if there is any kind of correlation to the distributor or the engine ECU not receiving inputs from the distributor, then it's going to be in the harness between the distributor and the engine ECU. Again, highly unlikely given how much attention to the harness I've put in, and the fact it's just very, very, very coincidental that I up my red line from 7,500 to 8,500 RPM, do a couple pulls to red line, and now I have this backfiring problem. I'm almost certain it's mechanical now. But, you know, hell, for the hell of it, just for zeroing in on the problem and narrowing things down, I will go ahead and spend the time to swap this distributor in and use its inputs and see what happens. But again, I highly doubt it. And I probably won't do it today because it is fucking dark out here and it is starting to get chilly. But at least I was able to observe the ignition system. I was able to observe the outputs from this distributor. Those are some important things I wanted to look at. Air fuel, when it's doing this problem, isn't acting up, doing anything weird or abnormal. You know, I was thinking maybe was getting stuck open an injector or something like that. But I would have had other concerns or something like that as well. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but I'm pretty positive it's going to be something mechanical. But I mean, compression's pretty even across this thing. I mean, this is a pretty low compression engine as it is. Cylinder number 4, when I first built the engine, was always the lower cylinder compared to the rest. But I mean, all of them. I mean, you hear how good this thing idles, right? If you were going to get compression-related misfire events, you'd have them closer to idle when your relative speed under compression was slower. So you're not generating an intense amount of heat under the compression event. Idle is when you have compression-related misfires. They would tend to go away when you rev it up. But each cylinder is around 115 psi. Warm or cold, it doesn't really make a damn. I've done it both ways. Nice and hot, nice and cold, about 115. Again, number 4 is about 110, but we're still over that 100, 105 mark where I start questioning cylinder sealing. But again, it's pretty low for a Honda, but I mean, this thing has like a huge dish in the piston, and just overall it's not designed for compression, and the pistons themselves sit just a little bit below deck. And then the head gasket, so I mean, it's not a compression monster by any means, but don't need compression when you got boost. But I don't know. This one's got me a little stumped for sure, but I believe my next steps, again, I'm probably going to do this Friday. My next steps are going to be to try to swap this distributor out, and then see what that does. Maybe check the ECU connectors, make sure there's no green schmutz growing on any of the stuff, growing on any of the pins or terminals, which I don't think there are. I had those connectors out the other day for something, but yeah, try that, check that stuff, and then if it still doesn't fix it, I'm going to pull the valve cover off, and possibly even get my leak down tester out and start looking at potential mechanical problems. But I don't know what could be causing this particular symptom. To me, it feels mechanical, but we'll see.